would like to commend the organizers of the Africa International Housing Show for putting together the event once more. I acknowledge that they have been consistent in bringing together housing industry stakeholders, policy experts, government and private players to this annual gathering to discuss, share ideas and define solutions to tackling the African housing challenge. Today is the 18th Africa International Housing Show. Congratulations. Barrister Festus Adebayo, who has been a lawyer, has turned into a real estate developer. Well done for the good job that you and your team have been making in the housing industry, not only in Nigeria but across Africa. This year's theme, the housing we need, brilliantly selected. I have gone through the entire program and can see that the agenda topics are crafted around not only on the way that the key housing industry issues that are of interest to us. This includes building resilience and sustainable infrastructure, setting the port, minding the gap, financing for low-income earners, data, innovative solutions, local building materials, manufacturing, effective and land management, and prop tech, amongst others. Beyond the subject matter, we also have here at this conference some of the best minds and brains and authorities in the housing sector. I want to applaud you all for traveling locally and internationally over long distances to participate in this event. It is my belief that this forum will produce insightful solutions and actionable conclusions that will add to our individual and collective efforts to update the delivery of affordable housing to our citizens across Africa. With limited financing, it is important for us as a continent to adopt a ground-up approach and domestic strategy that takes us into consideration the peculiarities of our housing needs. This will help us in developing sustainable and resilient housing solutions that meet the needs of our people. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as you are all aware, housing is basic need and the right of every human being. However, while housing is a right, access to it depends on the financial ability of individuals and the capacity and will of government to intervene to create the enabling environment for its provision. We all know that the current state of housing in our continent is far from where it ought to be. Last month I was in Kenya, someone was saying it's 51 million, out of which Nigeria has a deficit of over 50% or 28 million. Today I heard it's almost 90-something million. We know all that the current state of housing in our continent is far from where it ought to be. We have a dual challenge of inadequate housing supply to meet the population growth and substandard housing which does not meet the conditions of habitability, safety, security, comfort, sanitation, and accessibility according to the World Health Organization, or to meet the requirements of the World Health Organization and the UN. It's a continued problem in Nigeria, for example. Recent surveys show that 75 of the 42 million housing units we have are substandard. This means that our housing delivery strategies must include urban renewal and slab upgrading, and then also the building of new houses to address the housing solutions or challenges we are having. For us at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, this is the line of path we have taken. Also, it's important for us always to keep in mind that the issues of housing sector cannot be tackled in isolation. They cut across the entire housing value chain. That one of the speakers or the last speaker has said, from land to infrastructure deficit to housing construction to high construction costs, household demand, inadequate access to affordable financing options, amongst others. So in Nigeria, while we acknowledge these challenges, we are occupied that we are encouraged that we can make difference in our time. Since August 2023, when we came on board, we have adopted a value chain approach to fixing Nigeria's housing problems. We have developed and have commenced the implementation of reforms that will help us rewrite the housing and urban landscape. In January this year, we inaugurated 4 housing reform task teams, focusing on producing a blueprint that will guide us in improving land governance, strengthening federal housing agencies such as the Federal Housing Authority and the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, and ensuring that they leverage their collective capacities to increase the stock of housing, affordable housing in Nigeria. Another area of focus is encouraging the local manufacturer of building materials. We aim to establish building material manufacturing hubs in each of the 6 geographical zones across the country so that we can lower the cost of construction materials and housing delivery. We are actively seeking partnerships toward the delivery of these hubs, and we open to partnerships from technically and financially capable institutions. And the housing sector reform task teams are in the process of finding or finalizing their reports, and we are poised to examine and implement these reforms or recommendations to move the housing sector forward in our country. We have also started implementing the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program, where we aim to deliver a total of 50,000 housing units across Nigeria under Phase 1. The cities are to have 1,000 plus housing units per site in one location in each of the 6 geographical zones of the country and FCT, while the estates will have 250 housing units per site in the remaining 30 states of the Federation. So far, we have done groundbreaking for a total of 6,612 homes in 13 states across Nigeria. The Renewed Hope Cities target all income brackets with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom block of flats, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom terraces, 4 and 5 bedroom duplexes. The Renewed Hope estates are designed for low and medium income earners with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom semi-detached bungalows. We use organic designs where 1 bedroom can be expanded to 2 and 3 bedrooms as the income of beneficiary increases over time. The funding for these projects is from a mix of sponsorship, the budgetary allocations, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, and the public-private partnership with reputable developers and the Family Homes Funds Limited. Sustainability is also a key part of our Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program. We have incorporated green design measures to ensure that the cities and estates are climate smart and environmentally friendly. As you may be aware, Nigeria has about 220 million population with an annual growth of 2.5% per annum. Therefore, we'll have a huge housing deficit that requires to build 550,000 housing units annually over the next 10 years. This will require about 5.5 trillion naira annually, equivalent to about 300 billion US dollars. So the 50,000 housing units we plan to deliver is relatively ambitious given our history in housing stock development. However, it is a very small when we place it side by side with the 550 housing units projected per annum. I see this gap not only as a social necessity, but as a business opportunity for investors and our partners to make a profitable impact. That's why we are secondly looking for to PPPs and collaboration with housing development finance institutions, investors, and partners across the globe. We have adopted a demand-driven approach to our housing delivery strategy to avoid the issues of abandoned or completed but unsold buildings. Recently, we launched an online housing portal to ease the process of acquiring the houses. With this online portal, we have streamlined the process for the marketing and sale of these houses being built under the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program. And the result that we have seen so far have been very exciting, with over 28,000 applications, subscriptions recorded since its launch last month. This is helping us to plan, to also underscore the importance of data and adopting a need-based, market-driven approach to housing delivery. The location, viability, access to infrastructure, and livability are the heart of our considerations for choosing project sites. That's why most of the state governors will always emphasize that for you to give us land to deliver a project in your state, the site must be accessible, that is very much reachable. This is to ensure that we are building where there is effective demand, so as to ensure quick offtake. We have also expanded the ministry's urban, because on the other side of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, we have expanded the ministry's urban renewal and slum upgrade program. Under phase 1 of the slum upgrading program, the ministry has projects ongoing in the total of 26 sites nationwide. The key services provided at the identified sites include water supply, solar street lighting, rehabilitation of access roads, construction of drainages, and waste management and sanitation services, amongst others, most especially in the slum areas. Here too, we welcome partnerships that will help to scale up these components of our housing delivery. It is a very important one, with massive capacity for impact across the millions of households only seeking to live a better environment. Also, in line with the President's Renewed Hope agenda to ensure that all Nigerians, including those with no income, vulnerable and underprivileged groups, have access to decent and dignified accommodation, we are working to establish the National Social Housing Fund. Potential sources of funding we intend to drive is that budgetary allocations, executive order through tax incentives, private sector donations, telecom USSDs, development financial institutions, including housing development tax or value chain tax, corporate Nigeria home sponsorship, local and international donations. Additionally, as part of our land reforms, which is very key to housing development, we are exploring partnership with the World Bank towards the implementation of the National Land Registration and Titling Program. Through this program, we aim to partner with the state governments towards improving land formalization from the less than 10% that we are having currently to 50% in the next 10 years. Because we have it on record that less than 10%, about 6% of the total land in the country are titled. The remaining 96%, 94% of the land in the country are entitled, leaving a debt capital line follow. So the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, I go to work every day with my Honorable Minister of State, Alhaji Tijani Gorzo, fully aware of the challenges that confront us in the housing and urban development landscape in Nigeria. We also know that these issues have been long-standing and have persisted over decades. However, we do not feel overwhelmed because we believe that leadership is about solving problems. So I'm using this opportunity to officially call on all stakeholders, housing development institutions, local and international, and corporate organizations who believe that they can add value to send us partnerships, proposals for considerations. We are open to our expertise, concessionary financing, and knowledge. We are all leaders. Africa is looking up to us for practical solutions. As we gather here to deliberate, let us not become lost in our own theories. The air conditioning environment that we are sitting, the beauty of the atmosphere, we must remember that we are here for the interests of the poor brothers who are living in informal settlements, Africans who have been evicted because they cannot afford next rent, or those who are living in places with no decent sanitation, or those who cannot afford to make a 10% down payment for a house to own a mortgage. We must not, or rent on. We must not lose sight of this heavy duty that is on our heads. We are the ones to find solutions to their challenges. Mr. Festus and his team have put together this platform so that we can share ideas and also learn from our experiences, just as the chairman of the occasion gave us his own wonderful experiences in land banking, and be better armed to make a difference in our various space and areas of impact and influence. I remember immediately he sat down, 2 or 3 people came to tell him, "Sir, I want to come and see you after this conference." Maybe they want to come from that experience of land banking. Let us participate fully, take the ideas and insights and leave this place with the resolve to make tangible differences in housing delivery in our countries. Here at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, we are ready, willing and open to ideas, partnership, collaborations that will help us fix systemic challenges and expand quality housing to all.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.